O tēnā koe e te tamago kaitahu, ke kaha koe, whakarongo koe ki ngā ngākau, ngā kōrero o tāngata. Tēnā koutou te kōmiti whiriwhiri take, ka nui te mihi aroha ki a te kōtiro, me te whānau me ngā hoa. He uri ahau no kahungunu, no hine amaru, no rongo whakata, ko Carmen Parahi ahe. So, why am I here? I'm here on behalf of my whānau, my kids. We're speaking out today for our mokopuna, generations in the future, so they know we turned up and we tried. I've listened to all the kōrero for the past few weeks, for the past year. He tino amehi, it's been amazing. And you guys have learned and gained so much knowledge in the past few weeks listening to the kōrero of ngā tāngata o Aotearoa. And I hope that you're grateful for the kōrero and knowledge that you've received in the past few weeks, because it's incredible. So our whānau believe Te Tiriti Waitangi gives everyone rights in Aotearoa. The treaty is, and everyone's been saying it, it's for all New Zealanders. It gives us all rights. It also offers us protection for our natural resources now and in the future. Everyone knows the Crown wouldn't exist, you guys wouldn't exist without Te Tiriti. But instead of being grateful about it, this government is doing all it can to diminish its mana. Te Tiriti o Waitangi has its own mana. It's 185 years old. We're done debating about it. Leave it alone. All this kōrero, all of the submissions is information that can be used to educate New Zealanders. It's all there. Whether we agree with it or not, it's all there, and it should be shared with everyone. So I hope to see some novels in the future paid for by the government. Instead of diminishing the mana of Te Tiriti, show us, use the kōrero you've been listening to, and show us how it fits into our lives, why we should be proud of it. We've also got a solution for you to discuss later. Before I move on, I just want to ask you, what in our whānau submission stood out for you?
You just want to respond?
So I can make sure that I talk to it.
So in case you missed the question from Carmen, I'll go to top first, but Carmen asked what was it in her whānau submission that stood out for you?
Well, just something both in that and what you just said now. You said the treaty gives everyone rights. I'm interested to know, are those rights the same or different?
Kapai. Yeah, I've noticed you appreciate that question about difference. That's what we call proximity. It's a tactic that creates an us and them thing. And you use these words, Akari, national, and New Zealand first. You use these terms, everyone's calling it dog whistling, to ensure that the rest of the population believes that Māori are demanding to be treated differently. Ki te he tērā, that is completely wrong. It's lies, it's disinformation. And because we have a population that is ignorant about Te Tiriti o Waitangi, you're able to use this word difference to ensure that you separate Māori from the rest of the population. Māori, we're the indigenous people of this population. We didn't need Te Tiriti o Waitangi. The Crown needed it to be able to control the population. We did not need the treaty. The Crown did, and all the settlers that came after. That's why it's everyone's treaty. It gives everyone rights. Ka pai Todd, I look forward to more questions later. I've got a story for you.
Sorry, did you want any others from any other members? Or?
No, we can talk later. So I've got a story for you. And it's really important you hear this story, because a few months after this government came into power, we are getting ready with my two kids to go to school like all Kiwi whānau. Get to school, get to work, hurry up. My daughter, who was 17 at the time, Ātirita, she said in a quiet voice, with tears in her eyes, "Mum, does the government hate us?" A 17-year-old asked, "Does the government hate us?" That question hurt then, it hurts now. She was afraid of what the government would do to her, to us as Māori. To calm her down and to try and calm myself down, I explained we don't need the government to be Māori. We express our rangatiratanga our own way. We can't control the government, only what we do. I said, no, the government doesn't hate us, but I'm not sure. My grandfather, Carmen Parahi, he stood for National decades ago. As a candidate in the Eastern Māori seat. He was never going to win because Whitu Tiri Kātini was there. My daughter Ātirita carries his mum's name. He would be appalled, his mokopuna, today in 2025, are being made to feel less than non-Māori children by National, the party he supported. I thought then, as I do now, there is something fundamentally wrong with this government if it can make a Kiwi kid feel like it hates her because she's Māori. So, instead of continuing the cultural, social and constitutional progress of the past 50 years, this government's taken us backwards to the status quo of yesteryear. They're taking us backwards, which is the ideology and practices of Western European colonialism and supremacy. You've heard it time and time again. This isn't new to you. To do this, all three coalition parties, you're using cynical tactics like Māori are different. It's called distraction and proximity. These are political tactics I really want to make public today. Distraction. You've heard this. The government has distracted us with this bill so it can change Te Tiriti requirements in at least 28 statutes and in multiple policies across all sectors that you have control of. Proximity brings people together or separates them. Proximity brings them together or separates them. This government is using it to separate us. It uses terms like equality and need to purposefully equality and need. Those are terms used for proximity to separate us. You purposely ignore Māori experiences of colonisation, systemic discrimination, disparities. So when Māori demand fair and equitable treatment, as we can and we should, we're vilified, and the public is made to believe Māori are being unfair. and we're the problem. This bill is the companion of the Regulatory Standards Bill. Now, companions. The purpose of the Regulatory Standards Bill is to weaken te tiriti protection across all legislation. Both kete he. They both bills are political weapons to erase te tiriti o Waitangi. Part 2, dangerous acts. I'm concerned about the dangerous acts of this government. We acknowledge this bill has collectivised and support for te tiriti o Waitangi across society. It's been awesome. Like, actually, we've learned so much, and it gives me hope because so many people actually support it. You'll be lucky to get, I reckon, if I was to give you a bet, James, I reckon 10% or less will actually support this bill, and I look forward to reading that. It's needed, so te tiriti is needed to counter the potential dangers of this government. Those dangers are extremism, polarisation, assimilation, ignorance, and disinformation. We believe we're in dangerous times. Sometimes I feel very afraid, and we know my children do. This government and others around the world have created a global environment which emboldens extreme behaviour. Anyone from any part of the community may act against another group that doesn't share the ideology. It doesn't matter what your ideology is, but we're creating this atmosphere and this environment here and around the world that's separating us. And your job is to bring us together. That's what the government's job is, social cohesion. Te tiriti can help you bring everyone together, create social cohesion to protect us from inflamed situations. We're all feeling vulnerable, climate crisis, a health system that's about to collapse. We have seen the devastating results of extremism in Christchurch. The Royal Commission of Inquiry told us polarisation causes extremism. We need to be careful, please, and watch our language and our actions. Ignorance allows people to, I've said this, allows people with disinformation and lies to actually make them believe these things. My kids have the final word. I asked them for words to bring here. This is how the government makes them feel, my 2 teenagers. They made me feel ashamed to be Māori. I didn't want to be Māori anymore because they were making life so hard for us. They made me feel my culture didn't belong in Aotearoa. We are beneath those who took our land, that our problems that were created for us are our fault. What did we do wrong to make them treat us like we are less? These are my kids. Why do we have to keep fighting? Why do we have to go backwards? Why aren't we good enough to be equal? It's hard to be Māori. I'm going to leave this question for you. My time's up, so I'm going to leave it with you. Does the government hate us?
Carmen, thank you for your time this morning. I can't take you up on your bet because that'd be insider trading, but I do appreciate you being with us this morning.
What a powerful question to end the kōrero on. Does the government hate us? Oh, what do you think, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a really impactful piece of communication there. If this bill comes away with a generation or even a part of a generation of young Māori thinking that the government hates them, I mean, that's unbelievable. I mean, we just had that piece where Hana Rafiti Maipi Clark was leading a certain part of Māoridom, the young Māori, to say we're proud to be Māori, and she was really at the front of that. And now we've got the government doing something here where we've got young Māori saying, "Does the government hate us?" You know. So and the flip side of that is that they're clearly not proud to be Māori, because as soon as they go out the front door, the government hates them. So, I mean, it's a real full-on assault on being Māori in the country at the moment. So, I think the stakes couldn't be higher for resolving that question. And I think Carmen Parahi really put it down to this committee to resolve it for the next generation and the one that's coming afterwards. Because I mean, if we can't say that you can be proud to be Māori in this country, then it's not a good place to be.
Yeah, I guess my answer to that question is, one, it depends on your ideology, how you see the world and the experiences you've gone through. I'm a libertarian socialist. I don't shy away from that fact. So my answer to this question is going to be, if you love freedom, those that seek power and control are going to hate you for wanting freedom. So that would be the libertarian answer to that. So because the ACT Party is trying to take in more power away from Māori and use it to justify corporations having more control, use it to justify having more control over other ethnic groups, I would say, yes, the ACT Party does hate you. That's the libertarian answer. And that's me speaking as an ex-ACT supporter. They want what you have. So yes. And I'm sorry to be the bearer of that, bearer of those news, but yeah, based on my experience, having hang around ACT Party members and the way how they speak about Māori, yeah, they hate you.
Yeah.
Sorry to be the bearer of bad news.
Yeah, I suppose that's the challenge that we have to resolve through this process of this bill is how do we feel as a nation around our core relationship between Māori and Pākehā? You know, what's that future relationship going to look like? Is it going to be one of competition or is it going to be one of collaboration?
Yeah. I mean, power sharing, participatory democracy, if you're a person that wants to accumulate power and be the one to grant rights to people rather than consulting other people about what their life experiences are and what they need from their government, then what else can I call that other than hate? You just want to control others at that point. So that's just my 2 cents on it. But yeah, pretty heavy shit for 640.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you're subscribed to our Facebook